And I think that if you actually worked to improve your sleep, a lot of the challenges that you have today would be unhinged. You'd be able to have everything that you want that you feel like is right now a little bit out of reach.
You think you can do that the rest of your life? No. Do you think that you're showing up the absolute best that you can for your kids, for your family, for your job, for your loved ones, for the people who need you? No, because it doesn't work that way. Sleep is not something that only lazy people do. Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And this is Amelia.
And welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth-minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing ever. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, number 190. Are your people really supporting you? For today, 191, Motivation Monday. How bougie of a sleeper are you? Here at Evolve, we are all about the bougie sleep. We actually did a team training all about bougie sleep. So you guys are in for a treato.
Oh,
today.
Yeah. Treat. Oh, okay. So in this episode, by the time that you are done listening, my goal, our intention here at Evolve with Bianca and myself are to share with you our journey a little bit around this so that you can reflect upon your journey, so that not only you can determine how much of a bougie sleeper you are or are not and what to do about it, but also to figure out what are the next baby steps for you that will help improve your entire world. Because here's the thing. What is bougie sleep? Number one, bougie sleep is you honoring the fact that the biggest thing that is either giving you even more potential than you can possibly realize right now or limiting it is the quality of sleep that you get. And this was one thing that I didn't realize was like the crux of my existence. So I've shared publicly about my challenges with memory, with my brain trauma, with my experiences around how I have struggled my entire life trying to remember some of the most simplest things. Now, I don't say that lightly, although now I can kind of joke about it. I have had one of the most challenging journeys when it comes to my brain, my memory, and with that, my identity around what I'm capable of. And I know that my journey in one way, shape, or form can help you. And that's really what I want to bring forward. So when I was younger, keeping it kind of high level, I didn't realize how important sleep was. My mom, I got to give her a lot of credit. She tried in the best way possible to make sure that my beds were set up kind of when we were younger to even into my college years. That was the first thing that she focused on, making sure that the bed was set up so that we could get good sleep. However, me being the person that I am, I really need to understand the why. That's so important to me. Always has been, always will be, because I do have that rebel part of myself where if I don't understand the why, then I don't feel like I can make a choice for my own self, right? Who's been there? Raise your hand if you have a rebel part in yourself. So my journey very much looked like understanding what mom said to an extent of how we need to get good sleep, but not necessarily making my choices on the day-to-day make sure of that. And for the purposes of being the best person I can be. And so fast forward years throughout my journey, and I won't go deep into these details, but I had experienced trauma in my sleep. I had experienced trauma around sleep, some of my recall issues, and a lot of my challenges that I've experienced when it comes to like trying to figure out like, what did I do yesterday? You know, there's a lot of people that I engage with that's like, oh yeah, I've been there. I forget, where I put my keys, or I forget that my phone's in my hand. And we all struggle in one way, shape, or form with memory and remembering things and forgetting things. And when you look, the stats are really surreal around how terrible of sleep we get, and this is globally. It's an epidemic. A lot of the mental illnesses and mental disorders too, Bianca, you and I have talked about this in this, not in this episode, but in former podcasts, ties back to a huge issue around sleep as well. Go ahead.
It's not caused by bad sleep, but bad sleep like makes it a lot worse.
A lot worse. So in my journey through this whole experience around having terrible quality of sleep and not really understanding and connecting that to all of my issues and all of my problems in my life, thankfully I turned that around. And I did so with the love and support of my partner, Alan, shout out to you, who helped me realize that I had developed actually a limiting belief around my memory. Like my brain was broken. Like I couldn't ever remember that. So I should just give up, right? I should just, I need to write things down. I need to do this because there's no way in chance that I could ever have that memory. And though if you've never struggled with memory challenges or if you've never struggled with any sort of like brain trauma, like it might be hard to relate to that component. However, what I can tell you is it really was challenging to understand who I was at certain points. Because even looking back, I don't really have memories of my childhood. I would have conversations with my brothers and my sisters, or my brother and my sister. I only have one of each. And they're like, you don't remember that? Like talking about like a whole family experience. I'm like, no, I don't have any memory of that. And so when I met Alan and when he shared with me that, I think you have a limiting belief around your sleep. And I think that if you actually worked to improve your sleep, a lot of the challenges that you have today would be unhinged. You'd be able to have everything that you want that you feel like is right now a little bit out of reach. And so since then, I have, with his support, with Bianca, your support, with so many people around me, their support, completely changed my understanding of why sleep is important. Got into all of the neuroscience, which I'm not going to bring forward in this episode because that's a lot. I want to motivate you to get a better sleep and to understand what type of bougie sleeper you are. But in that journey, I have realized what type of bougie sleeper I need to be in order to achieve my goals, in order to help others achieve their goals. And so I'm going to go through a couple of things that I have developed in my bougie sleep routine. I'm going to share some of those. Bianca, you're going to share some of yours. And I want every single one of you listening to this episode to imagine what your life could look like if you got a better sleep. Every single night, if you had a better memory, if you had empowering beliefs, and if you had the energy every single day to chase after those relentlessly. That's where I am now, where before that was not the case. Before things felt out of reach. Before I couldn't believe in my own brain. So, a couple simple things for everyone. How much of a bougie sleeper are you? Number one, do you care about sleep? I think it's important to start there, right, B? Like, how much do you care about your sleep? Are you like, oh, I love my bed, but it's like, that's just it? That's the extent of the care? Or is it like, my bed is set up for absolutely everything that I can do to get the best sleep possible? Big difference. I went from one pillow to a couple pillows to body pillows to cool pillows to different sheets that are cool, like, understanding what type of sleeper I am. All of these things just because I started to care more about my bougie sleep.
I think there's this, and you and I have talked about this a lot, but there's this very misguided, I don't know who the hell came up with this, and honestly, I want to smack the person who initially said this, but like, I can sleep when I'm dead. Like,
oh God.
You're going to die a lot sooner if you're not sleeping.
Facts.
There's this like misguided notion, and it genuinely infuriates me because so many people get caught up in this really toxic cycle of, well, successful people don't sleep. Successful people just grind it out all day, every day, and they don't rest, and they don't take breaks, and they don't do this, and they don't do that. That is not true. Not true at all. If you look at the highest performers ever, like look at Olympic athletes, they have to rest. Kobe Bryant talks about it all the time when he started working with, I don't remember his name. He started working with this trainer, and the trainer told him, like, you have to go rest. You're not getting paid to work. You're getting paid to rest, because the rest you do is going to make it so that you can show up every day and do what you need to do.
If you look at the research, all of the geniuses in the world, like all of them that have made massive impact in the world's progression, in our evolution as a species, all of them can trace back to having like naps and major focus on sleep and rest, which is something interesting, because in my research I came across it. I was like, oh God, to your point, B, there's such a misbelief around sleep.
It's like, yeah, it's a cute motivational video, right? I don't need sleep. I wake up at 3 a.m. Good for you. How long can you actually sustain that?
Mm-hmm.
You think you can do that the rest of your life? No. Do you think that you're showing up the absolute best that you can for your kids, for your family, for your job, for your loved ones, for the people who need you? No, because it doesn't work that way. Sleep is not something that only lazy people do, right? If you have family, if you have friends, if there's people in your life who are really having this negative communication about sleep, they have limiting beliefs. Now, granted, there is a optimal stopping point here, right? If you're spending your entire day in bed, not getting up, not doing anything, that's a different story. That's a different story. But making sure you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, you're not weak for doing that. You're not less than for doing that. You're actually incredibly intelligent. Mm-hmm. And any motivational speaker or influencer or whomever who is saying messages about, oh, you don't need sleep, turn their shit off. Just let's be honest, turn their shit off, because they're ignorant.
It is. Ignorance has progressed in this arena around sleep. And that's why I want to bring what we've learned in so much of our research and so much the research that we've been researching and so much of our personal experience to every single one of our listeners. Because there's a huge, like, the hustle culture. Like, trust me, like, I used to be subscribed to that, genuinely. Like, I used to get like 5 hours of sleep, and like my ego was all about it. The level of effectiveness, I communicated to myself that was the most effective version of myself. Like, college, I used to stay up and pull all-nighters at some points before college tests and quizzing, is all this. Like, it is so ignorant. And honestly, my lifespan has been deprived of years, potential years has been left on the table in terms of my longevity as a result of that ignorance. And so there are so many studies that link quality, better sleep to the increased probability of better longevity, meaning a better lifestyle, a better and longer life, a healthier, more adaptive, more, I would just say overall holistically healthy life. And so
just
wow,
better
that's
life.
Genuinely better life. And I'm living that now because of the choices, because I've decided against ignorance in this arena. And I'm so grateful to the people that I surround myself with now, because they've also unsubscribed to the ignorance around sleep. And so couple of things that we're going to pull into the episode, like I said, are some things that we did to unsubscribe from that ignorance, which number one was honestly addressing the limiting beliefs around sleep, right? Addressing the ignorance around sleep and releasing yourself from any toxic thought patterns that arrive when it comes to the sleep, which is, you're not lazy. You're still good enough. Like, you're still going to be okay. You're still valuable. You're still XYZ when you get sleep.
You're actually even better, even
more effective. And I'm living that lifestyle now. So, okay, a couple quick things that I've been able to do that have made me a bougie sleeper. So I'm going to kind of go through, I have a list right here. So as you're listening to this on Monday, on whatever day you're listening to this, I want you to kind of think about, like, are you doing these things? And looking at the why of why this is something that you could implement in your life and how that could help you. So for example, number one I have here is earplugs. I used to be, and Bianca, I've even shared with you on this, I used to be so anti earplugs because the belief that was in my family of, well, what happens if there's a fire in the house? Or what happens if someone breaks in? A very scarce mindset of what happens if. When you look at the mathematics, the probabilities of XYZ happening, literally that scarcity is depriving you of so much sound sleep that you could be getting. You catch that sound sleep? Little pun. All right.
It
so
took you a
earplugs.
hot minute to convince me to do it too. Like
It did.
I was scared to do it and I didn't want to. And it took you months to convince me to finally do it. And now I have like a sound machine and music that I put on. So I have my earplugs in and I have that on, especially when I sleep at Mary's, because her and Coco, they snore so loud. I'm like, put 3 of them in. Like,
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Not only was there fear around like what happens if I don't have my sound, like my ears available to help protect me from whatever it is, right? Sound machines, music, etc. That scarce mindset driving deprives us from so much of sleep because of the fact that when we're sleeping, sound is typically the first sensory recognition of like any change in the environment. And that's a very, like, from an evolutionary theory standpoint, that's been like the primal thing that has kept us away from danger. Awesome. We're not in that type of danger anymore. We don't need to listen to see if the bristles of the bush outside are bristling. Like, likely it's a bird. It's not, a lion trying to attack you. So earplugs was one example, one small thing. And again, I give Alan credit for this. That has literally been a lifesaver for me because I was so much in a scarce mindset when it came around sleep as a result of my trauma. It was so scary for me to try to drown out any noise because formerly for me, that noise might have meant something really bad. And so now earplugs, binaural beats, which is a playlist that we put on so that our rhythm has gotten synced into that. And that's something that each one of you can, if you want, reach out. I'll send you the link. Sound machines, Bianca, those are a godsend. So ears, thinking about your ears, what can help you with the sound so that your brain can get into a safe space so that you can drift into good sleep? The other thing I would say is sensory. Sensory meaning, for example, touch and light. I have eye mask here. So are you an eye mask sleeper? Again, I didn't want to used to wear an eye mask because all I think is like princess pillow queen that like never gets after it and just always is laying down with her eye mask on and not doing a thing. And that's not who I identify as, right? Like, I'm not a princess and I'm not sitting here just trying to make the world revolve around me. So I like literally avoid eye masks for the longest time. Now I have these eye masks that are literally like goggles that like, so my beautiful eyelashes do not get messed up.
You would. You would.
I have the bougiest eye mask and it's so worth it. It's blackout, so you don't have the light coming in instead of blackout curtains, which are far more expensive, which is another thing you can do. Blackout eye mask, right? Comfy, cozy for the face.
Oh my God. I got blackout curtains. I'm not wearing an eye mask. All power to you. Good on ya.
Good on ya. All right. A couple more things. And then we're going to send you off to your Monday thinking about all the good stuff. So on the sensory component, what I've observed is that there are hot sleepers and cold sleepers, right? Are you a hot sleeper or a cold sleeper? I tend to be a hot sleeper, so I'll literally find the cold spots in my bed like I need to, or I'll literally like peel off all the covers. Everyone is a different type of sleeper, and that's where knowing yourself, if you're a hot sleeper, okay, what type of cooling sheets, what type of material do you need on your bed or on your pillows to help have a better quality of sleep? Alan, on the other hand, he's a cold sleeper. He also is a cold sleeper because he's a different body type than I am, right? So like he needs the blankets on him. So when I throw him off, it just happens to work out because I throw more onto him. But here's the thing.
Gimme.
Exactly. What are you? Are you a bougie sleeper with respects to, you're a hot sleeper and you've chosen to change your pillows, the sheets that you have, the types of blankets you have on your bed? Are they heavier to kind of reduce the anxiety that you have, right? There's anxiety weighted blankets. Or are you knowing this about yourself and doing nothing about that? Because that's what's getting sleep, not like you're not being able to leverage the benefits of sleep. Then a couple other things, and I'll end on this, is like what we put into our body even before sleep and how we kind of navigate our day to day so that we can optimize for the best sleep possible. We could go into a whole nother episode, but we won't. this is when are you drinking caffeine? When are your stimulants coming into your body? So like this is coffee. Are you drinking coffee? Are you having pre-workout right before the gym, right before bed? Right, you're going to be wired. Or are you like Bianca and I, and we have like Zoas, or formerly it was Bang, and we'd be hammering like 3 a day and not realizing why we couldn't sleep, right? Like,
why am I so tired?
What's right? Why am I so tired? Why am I not getting good sleep? It's like, oh, well, where was the last coffee? You like cut off coffee, or you cut off whatever that was stimulating your energy, right? Timing of exercise, that's a stimulant too, because of the hormones that get pumping, right? So if I work out way too late during the day or during the night before bedtime, like I notice myself being up more, your body's up more. If you eat right before bed, your body's trying to digest, it's going to have to be up more. And this is such a silly thing too. Like, are you going to the bathroom before bed? I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, completely forgot, and I keep getting woken up because they're not. And this is, again, we're going through our day to day, oftentimes not thinking of how much these little things add up and how much they take away from the biggest thing that can add up amazing things in our lives. So these were a couple things on my list for you if you want to be a more bougie sleeper and honor yourself in this. This is a form that I deem self-care and self-love. Bianca, are there any ones that you wanted to add into this before we jump?
Just a couple little things, but like you kind of already brought them up. So like sensory, if you have all the lights on before you go to sleep, your brain actually thinks it's daytime.
Truth.
So something that I do is after 8 o'clock, all the lights are down, and then I have like candles on, or like if I'm FaceTiming with Mary, I have the light dimmed. Great. That way, like I'm not having a ton of light on, and that way my brain and my body can be like, oh yeah, it's dark out, we should probably start getting like ready for sleep. Another thing that I'll do is I do my meditation and my mobility at night, because it's calming my body down and it's like just getting me ready to go lay down in bed. So like even last night, I did a little bit of foam rolling, and then I stretched, and then I meditated for like 10 minutes. And I had, there's this playlist on Spotify called Buddha's Flute.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's just very chill music that like always gets me ready to knock out. And then I literally got in bed. I read a page of a book and I was like, out.
You're doing it right, girl.
Yeah. So just simple things.
Sleep. Yeah, simple things. But the simple things add up, and we encourage the bougie sleep. It's so like here's one thing. I can't wait to do things differently for my children, if and when we choose to have children, because the difference, like what their brain's going to be capable of, because we focused on sleep and making sure, because there's so much junk that gets like, it's funny because I actually got like a Clean Up Your Mental Mess. You know that book by Dr. Carolyn Leaf? I got that for like all of the women in my family. And I was like, here, because there's so much in that helps to kind of work you through all of those like limiting beliefs that other people have had. And everyone was like, why the heck? Like, do I have a mess in my brain? It's like, yeah, we all do. Like, and it's the best. We can clean it up, you know? And like everyone probably took that as like, you have problems.
Just slide this across the table like, hey, you need this.
I did. But seriously, like I want for all of the women in my family to like clean up their mental mess, because the sleep stuff, it's a big thing. And I want everyone in the world, if I could, to help them get better sleep. And so I'm on a mission. If you want to learn more about bougie sleep, we got you. As we close this episode, Bianca, what is your final takeaway and episode suggestion for our listeners? And definitely don't take mine like you did last episode, because
listen, it was an accident. Come at me. You just threw me off. Hold on, give me a second. I lost it.
I got it.
Do yours first so I can figure my life out.
Okay, I got you here. All right. So my final episode suggestion is 129 Motivation Monday, one morning habit that will change your life. Bianca, you and I gave a couple tips in there for everyone, and everyone's different, right? So take this with what you will. And my final episode takeaway with this is rate yourself 0 to 10. How much do you care about sleep? With 10 being you care so much that you've wrapped around every single decision to help you get a better sleep. That's where pretty much I'm at right now, because I've understood the upside of that. I wasn't there before. I was at a solid maybe 3, maybe a -3. Who knows, right? That number that you have will be the ceiling of your potential. And don't let it stay where it is. It can always improve. That's my final takeaway for every single one of you.
Okay, here's my final takeaway. We all think of the concept treat yourself as these luxury items, right? I'm going to go to a spa. I'm going to get a nice car. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's all of these really big, like, external things. What if treating yourself was actually you getting your primary needs met, which probably haven't ever actually been met? What if treating yourself, like making sure that you're prioritizing your sleep, is the thing that's been missing that's actually going to help you live better, feel better, do better?
I loved it. That is the biggest luxury in this world of when we have so many things at our fingertips so easily. You know?
Episode suggestion, I'm not going to steal yours. 184, 5 easy ways to feel healthier.
Here you go. You're good. I'm just playing playful. All right, y'all. Happy Monday. Have a great sleep.
Be bougie. Be bougie.
Go be bougie. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.